searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a strive. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah.
What's going on, everybody? Big Dog Brett, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday. So glad to have you guys on here. Man, what an exciting day across the country. So many people heavily involved in this postseason action. I am not a big fan of college football until we get to the Super Bowl. I mean, not a big fan of pro football. I'm a college football fan, for those of you who don't know. But so just something about the Super Bowl. It's just a day where everybody kind of comes together and we watch the Super Bowl. At least at our house, we always have snacks, and wife cooks dinner, and like taquitos and jalapeno poppers and that sort of thing. It's a really cool day, and it's kind of a day where everybody's lazy. There's been some talk of moving the Super Bowl to a Saturday, so like the West Coast people can watch it, but I'm more of a fan of just keeping it on Sunday. That tradition, I like it much better. All right, as usual, let's go ahead and see who we got in the comment section here. I'm going to jump right at the top of the gate here. Bryant Denny Stadium first on the channel. Thank you so much for that, sir. Not Just Rocks, Dwayne RTR, Kill 'em Mime, and of course Keith Carr. Thank you so much for tuning in, sir. Sarah Crane, glad to have you in the channel, ma'am. You're always welcome here. Tiger Raven has made his appearance. Bulldog Mafia, SEC Dog, Nathan Moorfield, and Dennis Wilson. What's going on, buddy? Dennis is the resident troll. He likes to troll everybody, no matter what channel he's on. He's trolling them, whether it's Uncle Lou or BVD or anybody. He's on there. Oh, finally, something we can agree on, Dennis. Bad deal. Super Bowl on Saturday. Shaking my damn head. I couldn't agree more, sir. I love the tradition of it being on Sunday. Don't ever change it. So, all right. As you guys can see, we've made some modifications. We've made some changes. What do you guys think of the new setup? I hope you guys like it. It was not that easy. It was not as easy to put together as I thought it was going to be. So I've moved some stuff around, changed the studio up a little bit. We're going to continue to add stuff to it. As you can see in the background, I've got the Georgia G, some other random paraphernalia. But what you guys may not be able to see, what's going on, Keith? What you may not be able to see too well is this piece right here. So I'm gonna step up here and grab it. So hang tight 1 second. All right. So this might be a little hard to see, but I'm trying to hold it up. My wife got this for me, and it sets in that thing that lights it up. And as you can see, it's engraved. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's a light source that goes in the bottom that makes it light up like that. So what's going on, Dwayne? Bartholomew, what's going on, buddy? So glad to have you on the channel. Okay, so let's see. It's Tiger Raven. I was at the... He said what? I was at the... Oh, he pulled it back. I didn't get a chance to read it. Smoking some ribs around 1 p.m. Man, I should have done that. I should have smoked a chicken today. I should have. It's been a great day so far. Yesterday we sat up playing board games with the family. That was a lot of fun. By the way, shout out to Keith Carr for the Munchkin game. That game was pretty fun to play. We also just picked up a game called Monster Quest, and it's if you have kids, I highly recommend you go get a board game and force them to put their phones down, force them to interact with the family around the dinner table in a game that's not with a screen. And watching these kids interact, where they first start out, it was the old, this is so boring. And after a few minutes, they started to get into it. It was a lot of fun. I'm really glad we got to do that. So thanks, Keith, for contributing to that idea system. All right, guys. So going to touch base on a few things here. The the LSU fans, man, are still all about this Bo Pelini guy. After I made the videos, there's been a lot of people that's really there's a lot of people that's been really upset that I kind of got after Bo Pelini. And then, like, everybody's like, oh, you just hate LSU. And I'm like, well, if I hated LSU, why in the world would I be pulling for LSU in the national championship? If I just couldn't get over the loss to LSU, why would I do that? And it's pretty simple. It's because I recognize the talent that's at LSU. I recognize how good Joe Burrows was, and I knew that that was going to kick our butt in. That they were going to kick our butt. And they were going to walk all over us, which they did. Which they did to anybody. So, yeah. So now I've got LSU fans that are saying I don't know what's going on with. I don't know what I'm talking about. I must be an idiot. I'm a complete fool. I should shut my mouth. But if you go back and you look at the games that I've called, where I thought Florida was going to end up, where I thought Georgia was going to end up, the other teams, I pretty much nailed all that stuff. I don't always get the scores perfect, but I'm usually in the wheelhouse. Every now and then I'll get one wrong, and I'll, wildly wrong, and then I'll get on here and I'll own it. But I don't know. It's just kind of funny to see the LSU fans that were all out here talking about how LSU was going to without Bo Pelini, he's incredible. There's no way that the game has passed him by. He had a number 2, number 3, number 4 defense when he played at LSU. The guy coached so long ago at LSU, it's almost as relevant as Georgia's 1980 national championship. I mean, that's how relevant that is. Football has changed that much. And if you don't think football has changed that much, then please explain to me why that no matter where he's coached at, the defense has not allowed him to win more than 9 games a season. So, yeah. So there's a guy right now over in one of the comment sections. He just constantly back and forth, and he was like, "Well, why would they pay him $4 million if the guy knows more about football than you ever know?" He probably does. Doesn't mean he knows how to apply it. You can own all the tools in the world, still not know how to use them. So yeah. Nathan says, why would switching it to Saturday make it easier for West Coast people? Because that's where I live and I have no issue. Because if it's a Sunday game, a lot of people like to partake in some adult beverages, and by the end of the night, the game comes on late, so they can't really enjoy it the way they want to, because it's they have work. A lot of people have work on Monday, so. At least in the South, the game comes on at 6. You can sit around, drink beer with your friends, your buddies, whatever. You can have a few stiffer drinks than beer, and then game's over at 10 o'clock. You can help clean up a little bit, start drinking a few water, go home, crash around 11 o'clock, still get up and function the next day. But if you're out on the West Coast where the game starts at what? The game's going to start at least 9:30, if not 10:30 in some places. Yeah, so the game's going to be over at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Bama Clemson, who's your daddy now? LSU Tigers. That's pretty good, man. All right, so let's talk about what everybody's eating today. Some people actually prefer to eat takeout food on Super Bowl Sunday, which we've kind of hodgepodged that with some other stuff before, where we have had some takeout food and we've had some what I call TV dinner food, and then we've had times whenever we've just grilled out completely. Tonight at Big Dog's house, we are going to be doing grilled stuffed burritos with steak and cilantro lime rice, and we're going to cook those on the flat top. Chips and dips, yes sir. I love a good what is that stuff they call it? That buffalo chicken dip. I think that's what they call it, and that stuff's incredible. Oh man, it won't. I'm going to be at work during the Super Bowl. Time to find a new job, sir. You can't use a sick day on the Super Bowl. That's a fast way to get hammered. So, yeah. I am going to put this out there. Well, not entirely. We'll see how it goes. But I've got some really exciting news that will allow me to prove that I am a literate person, that I can read and write, and I'm going to share that with you guys maybe later this week, maybe next week. We'll see. So I'll have some really exciting news, but I'm not going to put it out there just yet. I'm going to wait until it actually happens, and then I'm going to show you guys. So, yeah. All right, Sarah, thanks for jumping on. Hey, what's going on, Jay? Make sure you catch up with me during the halftime and the in the game strategy. What's up, Mr. Mombi? He must have got told to go get something. No. Hey.
Coffee.
Yes, sir, please, and thank you. Oh, by the way, my wife bought me this stuff that's whiskey coffee. There's no alcohol in it. But if you've ever had like a good strong black coffee and you pour just a little bit of whiskey in it, it kind of adds a flavor profile that you wouldn't have had before. And it smells amazing while it's brewing. She bought that for me. And man, it's been really good. So yeah. At least we're not stuck with corn dogs and crawfish like these LSU fans. Hey. Don't be knocking them crawfish, man. Crawfish are really, really good. Oh, yeah. So we're going, like I said, we're going to be doing grilled stuffed burritos. Wife's upstairs prepping the food right now. I'm going to cook it. But one of the things I also wanted to share with you guys, I know I haven't been making all of the wonderful trash talk videos that I normally make. Thank you so much, son. I'm going to have to bring a microwave down here, man. Our grandma's going to get mad I'm putting all this stuff in her basement. But one of the things that me and my kids have been working on is I was knocking around on Facebook, and I'm a big fan of free. It's my favorite price. So this is what I want to show you guys. And there's another sink here. I'll show you this in a second. But this right here, if we can get it to zoom in, that's a granite countertop that I got the granite for free, and I cut and molded it and installed it in the master bathroom, the hall bathroom. If it'll, maybe not. We'll see. Anyway, get in there. There we go. But we installed granite countertops in all 3 bathrooms. And, man, it really looks good. I learned a lot doing it. I'd never cut granite before. Well, it was an exciting experiment because every time you cut that thing, I sat down and figured it up. The cost to have the kind of granite we have installed would be somewhere around $2,400 to $3,200. That's the price by the time you add up all the backsplash, the labor, the caulking, all that other stuff. I got the granite for free. I got a couple extra pieces left over. I'm going to use those to make prep stations around my Blackstone, and I'll show you guys pictures of that when it's done. Oh man, what happened to the chat? The chat quit moving. Did we lose you guys? Hope I didn't lose you guys. Where's my... I could potentially be over here talking to absolutely nobody. Oh, it's exciting. There we go. Okay. I'm just so charismatic. You guys you were so entranced. I forgot about the chat section. I appreciate the compliment. Oh, man. All right. So other things we want to talk about also, we definitely want to talk about the washing UGA or washing dishes and listening. So I wanted to kind of talk about the stats a little bit. And this, I know looking at stats is really not going to give you all of the information that you really want, but it's usually a pretty good indication of what you can expect. So the teams are actually pretty closely stacked, which is, to me, interesting. I mean, the stats are crazy close. If you look at the 2019 regular season stats for the San Francisco 49ers, their points per game is 29.9, which is practically 30. And the Kansas City Chiefs is 28.2. Total points 451 to 479. Total touchdowns 56 to 50. First downs 350 to 336. Passing and completions 331 to 478, and 378 to 576. So there's about 100 more passes that have been thrown by the Kansas City Chiefs versus what the Niners are throwing. But the net passing yards, and here's the difference to me. The Chiefs have 378 completions, and the Niners have 331 completions. But there's a huge difference here. There's right at 3,800 yards in receiving for the Chiefs during the regular season, and there's 4,500 for the Chiefs, 3,800 for the Niners. That's an 800-yard difference. I mean, that is a lot. That's a lot. Now, here's the crazy thing. The yard pass per attempt for the Niners is only 8.4. Chiefs is 8.1. So to me, that's really interesting that there's that big of a difference in the yardage. And I wonder, because I haven't watched a whole lot of these teams play, I wonder how much of that has to deal with field position and how long they were able to sustain drives. There's a lot there. So to me, the other stat I like to look at is total offensive plays. Total offensive plays is just how many snaps of the ball have they had on offense. The Niners are at 1,012, and the Chiefs are at, where's the number at? 976. So about a 40 play difference, which in my opinion is about half of a football game. But that's a pretty substantial amount of more snaps for San Francisco than the Chiefs play. So that makes me wonder how the defense is going to react. Of course, I'm always interested in kicking. Georgia always has really good kickers, so I'm always really interested in how, if a game can come down to a kicker, how's it going to pan out? They're practically identical again. Net average point yards for the Chiefs is 41.6. It's 42.3 for the Niners. Field goal attempts, 30 out of 39, 34 out of 38. So maybe an edge to the Niners here on kicking, but over an entire season, that's really not that big of a difference. Fumbles versus lost, 17-10 and 18-10. Turnover ratio 8, turnover ratio 4. So the San Francisco Niners have a turnover ratio of 4. Chiefs have a turnover ratio of 8. Time of possession, 31 minutes, 37 seconds for the Niners, and 29-27 for the Chiefs. I mean, these teams are so evenly matched on paper that it's really, really difficult to say, oh, they're just going to get killed. Dwayne's like, I honestly don't care about the Super Bowl. So I changed the lighting. The lighting I had before was basically just this white. Let me show you guys what one of the light bulbs that I was using looked like. You ready? All right. This is one light bulb. Now, to give you an idea of the size of this, here's my coffee cup next to it. This is a normal light bulb. And this is the bulb that I use in the studio. And I've got tons of them. So, fun stuff. Who have I got winning the Super Bowl? Man, whether I think this team's going to win or not, I'm going to pull for this team like crazy. I'm pulling for the Chiefs all the way. Kansas City Chiefs, Aaron Murray used to play there, and now Miko Harmon plays there. So, I mean, yeah. Dwayne's like, well, catch a house on fire. So, I've got, behind me right here, I've got two lights. I've got a ring light, and I've got a standard soft white light there. I've got this thing lit up over here. In the background, I've got my hover helmet, and over there I've got my strobe light. On the floor over here, which you can't see, is another tripod. There's a tripod that's holding this light about 6 feet off the ground. So yeah, and I've got wires and stuff running through the ceiling and drop tile and all this other stuff. So I'm thinking about getting an entertainment center to put kind of like right there, just for depth of field to add stuff to. But the shelving that you see back here, each one of those pieces of wood is over an inch thick. So it's heavy duty stuff. The helmet that you see behind me right here, this helmet right here, that helmet right there is signed by Aaron Murray. No, I do not have a better light show than Lou. Lou, man, his stuff is incredible. His camera can handle it, though. My camera can't handle that. I have to have a certain amount of light. This is a good camera. I got it for a steal. I didn't know it would do all the stuff that it does, but this camera can't handle the low light as near as well as his does. You can see the Georgia G that I made. This football here, right there, that football there, came from my grandmother's house after she passed away, and so did that little doggy right there. And those came from her house over a year after she passed away. But I always keep those there as a reminder, that she was a big dogs fan. And I always kind of like knowing that, that's right behind me. You can obviously see the skin suit from that visitor we had after the Notre Dame game. Over here is the Georgia Tech hype and hate cowboy hat that the Macho Man dog had on. So yeah. And then of course, I've got various other displays up there. Better light show than Bama. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe. Hope Sammy Watkins has a big game tonight. Who are you pulling for, Tiger? Are you pulling for the Niners or the Chiefs? I hate when I hit the wrong button here because the way my stuff is set up, I hit the wrong button. It just dumps everything to the desktop. I've got some pictures of the Georgia Light Show. I should probably post those. You going for the Chiefs? Yeah, I'm going for the Chiefs myself. But overall, obviously the studio's kind of come along a bit. I want to add some more stuff to it, but it's for you guys, So can't wait to see what Monken does to our offense. Hey, what's going on, Jay? Yeah, I completely agree, dude. It's going to be interesting. So there was some betting lines, and Uncle Lou posted a really good video that had go back and watch the prop bets video that he had up. The props bet video had let me see if I can look it up now. I think he gets all his stats from betnow.eu. Let's see here. I think you have to register to look at stuff, but let me see promotions. I'm not interested in that. Let me go prop bets, Harmon. Super Bowl prop bets. Let me go Kansas City Chiefs. I want to go to the players chart. Players. Okay. Receiving. I don't look at rushing. So Harmon, over the course of the season, has 26 receptions. He's been targeted 41 times. He has 538 yards. He is 4 down on the depth chart, and he is the team leader on averages at 20.7 yards. He has 6 touchdowns. He's the second guy on this with a long of 83, which is by far longer than anybody else on the team. And he has 305 yards after the catch, which is only beaten by Travis Kelce, and I think that's how you say his name, at 430. But he had a 76-yard long run that helped bolster that number. Let's see if I can find it here. Their first touchdown scorer of the game, Harmon. to me, looking at the stuff that's out there, I'm not worried about first touchdown, not worried about first score. Let me just do Control F. Oh, wrong field. Let's get on this page. So there's 13 places on this page where you can do prop bets for Miko Harmon. But the reason I bring it up is because I wanted to talk about what's going on, Iceberg. Do I think Georgia sports are cursed? Said Falcons fan. No, because if that was the case, the Atlanta United would not have won the MLS Cup. Let's see, first touchdown score. Not interested in that. Nope. Last touchdown. There's first touchdown, last touchdown. Who will score 3 or more touchdowns? All right, here it is. So receiving yards by Miko Harmon, 21 or more is minus 25, or 21.5 or over is 21 and a half yards or more, or 21.5 yards under. Both of these are a minus 115, minus 125. But I'm going to tell you right now, I would take that at 21.5 over. I saw that stuff. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. One of the best guys they got. Most receiving yards. Is it going to be Hardman or Bourne? And then Kansas City players to record team first reception. Who's going to get the first reception? And then what was the other one? Most reception yards. I mean, they're looking at Miko Harmon. If I looked at that stats list and I was like, man, this guy averages 4 or 5. I mean, and not only that, he also rushes the ball too. So I mean, he's had 26 receptions. The guy averages 20 yards per catch. I know good and well they're going to go to this guy during the game. There's no doubt in my mind. None. He's their second best receiver on the team. Of course they're going to throw the ball to him. If I had the money, I'd bet on that for sure. But anyway, so who thinks the game is going to be? How does everybody think the game is going to end? Is it going to end on a field goal? Is it going to end on a touchdown? Is it going to end on overtime? I mean, anybody have anything dramatic they think is going to shock anybody? Who thinks it's going to be a blowout? You know, what do we have? Braves did win one with David Justice. Yep. Oh, man. Uh-oh, the wife sent me a picture. Let me see what this is. Stuff she's want me to build for a garden. It will win with one team winning. Not necessarily, Dwayne. It can end in a tie. No, wait a minute. It's a postseason game, so it can't. I think it has basically unlimited overtimes in postseason. Number 1 recruiting class. I kind of called it a while back on one of the videos that I made. I think it was the one that I made about Clemson signing day. That it was possible, like Clemson. Yeah, it was a Clemson video. I was like, Clemson's signing class is scary good. It really is. But it was kind of like they jumped out to an early lead. But it took a lot to, and I said it was possible. I mean, it would be difficult, but it was possible for Georgia to take that away from them, which they did. So, yeah. I don't know if they'll end up with Hot Rod. I just don't know. I don't think a Super Bowl has ever ended in a tie. I don't think so. One thing I will say though, the number one recruiting class, whenever we ended up with Dejan Edwards, for those of you who don't know, is a 4-star running back, runs a lot like Nick Chubb, not super crazy fast speed, but just a very, very powerful guy. When the guy's running, he'll stick an arm out there and take a defender and basically just slam him into the ground if the guy's trying to tackle him. He runs through people. His spatial awareness is incredible. His balance even more so. He's one of those guys that when you hit him, like if you hit him and you knock him off his feet, the way he moves his legs and keeps his shoulder over his center of gravity, he stays on his feet extremely well, and he's hard to take down. He's a 4-star running back. He's the guy that whenever we signed him, it pushed Georgia to the number 1 spot. The good news is that, at least in my opinion, the good news is that with Dejan Edwards signing with UGA, it likely pulled pushed. It likely pushed Zach Evans to another team. So I get Zach Evans is an incredible athlete. I've watched his videos. He's absolutely phenomenal. But I am so incredibly careful now about signing players to a locker room that could potentially be a cancer. Something that could be a problem. Having Dejan Edwards puts us at like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 running backs in the backfield. And that is going to make it a little more difficult for Zach Evans to get playtime. Now, Zach Evans may step out there and say, well, I'm good enough, I believe that I could take that position away from those guys, and he might be able to. But I think apparently he took a trip to Tennessee, and then he came back, and I guess Jeremy Pruitt went down and tried to visit him and visit some other players, but he ended up not meeting with Zach Evans. I don't really have enough information on that to say whether or not it was on purpose, whether it was by design that Zach Evans had already made up his mind that he didn't want to talk to Jeremy Pruitt, or if it was just a miscommunication. Did somebody get a timeline wrong? Did somebody get logistics? It just didn't work out. I'm not sure, but just looking at the fact that if you look at all the drama that Zach Evans, just around his recruiting class, I would have to imagine it's probably going to continue on through his career as a football player. And I'm just not sure I want to deal with that. I'm just not sure that I want to deal with that at all. So, where is my – hold on. So, let's see here. Do me a favor, guys. If you've made it this far in the video and you appreciate the content and you're enjoying everything you hear and see, maybe not see so much as hear, but if you could go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me, I really appreciate it. It does help the channel. Also, take a moment and hit the share button and just throw it on a social media page, to a group, to a Facebook group, or to your friends list, just somewhere where it gets additional exposure. It's hard for me to reach those places without you guys' help. The channel has grown significantly, and I really appreciate you guys helping me with that. But that also helps when you guys continue to do that. Right now, if you guys want to get quick little messages that I put out, because I put out stuff on Twitter. If you want to follow me, it's Big Dog Brett at UGA Big Dog Brett on Twitter. I post stuff pretty regularly, especially about content that I hear about that you guys may not hear about or track down or see. But if I hear about something going on, I'm usually pretty quick and on top of it. I can get it out to you guys in a hurry. I'm a member of several Facebook groups of all different teams. I'm also in contact with some of the people that's on the recruiting trail that kind of get inside tracks on stuff. Most people don't care to keep up with all that, but I like to try to be a single source point of contact for you guys, so that if that stuff pops up, you can just get a Facebook message from me, or a YouTube message from me, or a Twitter message from me. Twitter is by far the easiest. YouTube is kind of a pain in the neck, and Facebook is horrible at it. So if you guys follow me over there, I'd much appreciate it. Also, I think the channel is now up to 2,500. Let me check. It's 2,514 subscribers. I can't tell you how much that means, guys. You guys are incredibly awesome. Even to the trolls, I appreciate you guys so much. All right, let's see here. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, support the channel, all that other stuff that all those other YouTube people tell you about. I always find it really interesting that we see that while I'm doing the live show, I'll get 30, 50, 18, 100 people in the live stream. But then, over the next couple of days, it'll be, it'll have 300 or 400 views. If you're one of those people that's you're part of the 300 or 400 views, please feel free to go ahead and share the stream anyway. It still helps. It really does. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your friends of your neighbors, tell your neighbors' friends, tell everybody. And thank you so much. Oh, man. So the Alabama team in 2020 will be ticked off and ready to toss some salads. Brian, are you... Did that come out the way you meant for it to come out? Because when you toss somebody salad, I think that has a different meaning. That doesn't mean what you think it means. So you may want to retract that statement, sir. Well, I mean, present terms go for, so. I'm not. This is almost a family channel. I'm not going to tell you what I think that means. So, please don't put it in the comment section. Yeah. So, back to the Zach Evans thing. While Zach Evans is an incredible athlete, I just think there's been too much already that's kind of going around with this guy. If we get Zach Evans, you will not see me jump up and down. I am going to be very reserved about this young man. It's just been a lot of a drama, really, for no reason as far as I'm concerned. You're a 5-star recruit. You've proved absolutely nothing in college football. Yes, you're highly recruited and you're highly ranked, but there has been for me to know as much about you as I do. Whether it's a game, whether you're doing it on purpose, or you're not doing it on purpose, I'm almost lost interest at this point. Yeah, Dwayne, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of sand, What I'm really interested in is to see how things work out for the 2020 season, the game 3 when Georgia plays Alabama. 9 out of the 11 starters are returning to Georgia, so that's going to be interesting. Y'all be tossing tangerines around again in the bowl season. Here comes SEC dog out of the shadows, man. Sticking a knife in and twisting it early. So in the off season here, obviously, we're going to have National Signing Day here pretty soon. I think National Signing Day is February the 5th, I think. Yes, February 5th. It's on a Wednesday. There is several players that are not signed right now. If you want to know who those players are, there are several. And by the way, just so you guys know, when it comes to college football, there is certain rules as to when players can sign, when they cannot sign, who they're allowed to. Not who they're allowed to sign with, but if they have a national letter of intent. There's also some talk about how you can sign federal aid paperwork and get listed on a roster, but you can sign anywhere. You can sign multiple locations if you do it that way. I don't know, Dwayne. I think Georgia's going to have a better quarterback than what we had last year. I think the offensive play scheme is changing. I think that the mindset at UGA has changed quite dramatically. Ton of guys coming back on offense, ton of guys coming back on defense. I think that it's going to be a really good game, but I think that this is going to be where Georgia does win a game. Okay, so looking at National Signing Day, you got DJ Lundy, number 56 athlete, number 966 overall. Not that exciting. Broderick Jones, number 2 offensive tackle, number 11 overall. That's it. It's 8:30, 9 a.m., 9:30, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and then 3:50, which is weird. Out of the names that I recognize on here, Broderick Jones, Cedric Van Pran, Dejan Edwards, and Jordan Burch. Those would likely be the ones that I would say are definitely going to come to UGA. So Evans won't be allowed to sign a second letter of intent, by the way. Instead, he will enroll in school in June, meaning there may not be any news involving the 5-star running back on National Signing Day. But you may want to watch his Twitter account just to see what pops up. We'll see what happens. Jordan Burch is probably going to stay with South Carolina. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I would bet that he would stay with South Carolina for whatever reason. We have a winning streak in your own stadium. That's 5 in a row. I don't know. The Georgia, Auburn, Alabama thing is just weird. It just seems like you win better at their stadium for some reason. I don't know what that is. It seems like Alabama always beats Georgia at Georgia. It always seems like Georgia beats Auburn at Auburn, and they except for the past couple of years. And it always seems like Georgia beats Alabama at Alabama. It's just weird. It is so weird. Why doesn't UGA ever play Alabama at home? I'm not sure the tone of that question, Jermaine, but I'm sure you know that it's because Alabama's in the West and they're on rotation. So by the time you cycle through like 8 or 9 seasons, then one would be home and one would be away. I mean, it'd be like 16-year gap unless we meet at the championship game. I think the last time that Georgia played Alabama was in Athens was what? Golly, I want to say was it like 2008 or something? It was like the first time in 3 or 4 years that any team other than Alabama that Alabama played was favored. And then they came in there and beat the brakes off of us. It was like 51-10 or something stupid. 2008. What was the score of that game, Jermaine? It was like, I want to say it was like 51-52 to 14 or 17 or 10 or something crazy. It was a blowout. I'm sure somebody can pull that up. Bama still had a light show, but they made it in China. Hey, that light show at Georgia is no joke, man. It's super cool. It is super cool. Yeah, well, Auburn has a lot of catching up to do. If Gus Malzahn doesn't do something, can't beat his in-state rival, can't beat his cross-division rival, been to the SEC one time in, the past 7 or 8 years, and then got blown out. Yeah. Yeah, 38-10. Yeah, it was a blowout, dude. It was, and if I'm not mistaken, Brian Denny, I believe Nick Saban took his foot off the pedal in that game too. I mean, it easily could have been 45 or 52-10. It was bad. Clemson and Alabama should schedule a home and home sometime soon. I think Georgia did that with Clemson not too long ago. We did a home and home. Yeah. Woo. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that. 41-30. Are you talking about Bama Auburn? To my Bama Georgia. Brian Denny Stadium, boy. He said he likes watching them get. He said he likes watching them walk out all mad. I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you at all. I'll tell you, you should see the South Carolina fans when you beat them in their own stadium. When they leave, they are not happy, dude. They are not happy. So let's look at, while we've got everybody on here, just for something, and we look at the recruiting rankings, Georgia is sitting at the top of the heap right now with only 22 commits. Alabama has 26. And this is how close to top 3 are. At 23 commits, Clemson, their overall ranking is 309.73. Alabama is 310.93. And UGA is 31.44. We have 22 commits, 4 5-stars, 4 5-stars, and 15 4-stars. Alabama has 4 5-stars and 18 4-stars. Here's the one that I thought was really interesting. Texas A&M has 2 and 12. Texas A&M right now has a top 6 ranked recruiting class behind the 5 powerhouses in recruiting, which is Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, and Ohio State. And then Texas A&M at number 6. And then Auburn is up here with 16 4-stars but no 5-stars. Oregon has 3 5-stars and 6 4-stars. And that's pretty much it for 5-stars. I think there's 1 5-star that chose to go to the Maryland Terrapins. And I think that's it, man. So out of the top 6 teams hold 10, 21. The top 6 teams hold 21 5-star players. It's incredible. Incredible. Where did that page go? Let's hit that. So, yeah. P digits. He said Carolina fans aren't angry at losing a game. They're angry because they're Carolina fans. Here's the thing, man. I will say this about the Gamecock fans. They are absolutely some of the most loyal fans, though. Even though I don't necessarily like them, you got to admit, if you lived in a state like South Carolina, or we'll even say Alabama, to find Auburn fans that won't jump ship, even though the other in-state team is winning national championships, that's incredible. That's some loyal teams right there. Loyal fans, excuse me. Crazy. There was something else I was going to look up real quick. Oh, yeah. Okay, so since we got you guys on here, we're also going to do this. And this is something that'll be interesting, at least to me. So, obviously, college football is over. College football is done for a while. After National Signing Day, it's going to kind of go away. Divorce rate in South Carolina is high. After you go from National Signing Day and all that stuff kind of pans out, and then you go, the Super Bowl is over, the National Signing Day is over, and it's going to be a little while before the spring games start. In the meantime, there is going to be a new football program around. Now, last time it was the AAF. I didn't either, Kevin. But the new football, I mean, I was watching the AAF. The stuff that I had read about it initially looked like it was going to turn out pretty good. It did not. The games were something to watch. I mean, it was football, and there was nothing else on, and it was news. It was something that we'd never seen before, or at least hadn't worked well. The AAF jumped out there to try to get ahead of the XFL, but couldn't manage to do it properly, and it ended up caving about 8 games into the season. Not that it meant the Atlanta Legends was terrible. They were just getting their teeth kicked in. Who do I think the sleeper will be this season in the SEC? I think that Texas A&M has a strong chance to be a sleeper. I actually think Arkansas may surprise a few people. Florida has a chance to surprise a few people, but I don't think you're really going to see anything other than that. I think it's going to be business as usual. David Johnson said, hey, Brett, what do you think about Todd Monken as offensive coordinator? If you look at the stats behind Todd Monken, he's absolutely a mastermind to the passing game. So you're going to see Georgia's transition probably away a little bit from the murder ball that you've seen in the past. The one thing that I really do like about Todd Monken is that in one of the seasons where he had, I want to say he had the number 2 or number 3 offense in the country, he had 2 1,000-yard rushers. So that tells me that he's able to use what is available to him and plan his football around those guys rather than trying to make his guys fit into a certain type of plan. Tennessee has the best fan base ever. They have to. Or the slowest. It could be the slowest. There's some really good Tennessee fans out there. Those guys have big hearts. I know I like to rag on those guys, but a lot of Tennessee fans have big hearts. All right, so real quick, let's talk about the XFL. I'm going to be doing videos based off the XFL because I love football. I think this is a great transition between the offseason and when college football kind of starts to get going again. So here's your teams. There's the Dallas Renegades based out of Dallas, Texas, DC Defenders, Washington, D.C., obviously, Houston Roughnecks, another Texas team, the LA Wildcats, the New York Guardians, the St. Louis Battlehawks, the Seattle Dragons, and Tampa Bay Vipers. No, there's no Georgia team, no Tennessee team, no Alabama team, none of that. So you've got, and if you'll notice, all of these cities, and this was kind of smart, are in places where you have major metropolitan pull, and they're also hubs. So like St. Louis is a hub for flights, Houston is a hub, DC is a hub, Seattle's a hub, Tampa is a hub. So if we jump over to Tampa, which is what I'm going to look at now, the Tampa Bay, their helmets look kind of cool. It's a V, but the shape of the V has got like fangs in it. And if you look at the roster, this is the team I'm going to be pulling for. It's a Southern team. It is it's the closest to us. But let's talk about the actual the roster here. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick out the guys that kind of – and I'm going to miss somebody. I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody that was really, really good because I don't have a Rolodex memory. I don't memorize all of these players. I don't know all of these players. I just do the best I can. So, catch you later, Tiger. So, looking at Sontavious Jones, 6'4" wide receiver out of Valdosta State. And then they've got a 6'6" wide receiver, 6'3" wide receiver, 6'3" wide receiver, 6'4" wide receiver. Valdosta State, Arkansas, Indianapolis, Wisconsin. Tarvaris McFadden. I want to say I remember this guy from Florida State, but I'm not sure. So if we go to Aaron Murray is the quarterback. So Aaron Murray has quite the story of where he's played in, obviously for Georgia, played some in the NFL, kind of got swapped around here and there, ended up going to Atlanta, was a backup quarterback at Atlanta, and then he won a starting job at the Atlanta Legends, and now he's playing for the XFL. Then you've got another Georgia player by the name of Corey Moore, defensive back, 6'2". Mac Brown, not the coach. He's a running back from Florida. Nick Moore from Georgia. Where else? Let's see. Yeah, that's basically the players from Georgia. You've got C.C. Jefferson from Florida. If you don't remember this guy, he was a heck of a defensive end. I'm not sure why that guy didn't go pro. Not sure why. Ryan Davis from Auburn was pretty good. Tight end DeAndre Goolsby from Florida. Let's see who else on here. Jordan McCray, OC out of Central Florida. That guy was a beast if I remember properly. And seeing if any other names jump out at me here. DeMontre Hurst from Oklahoma. Oh no, Uncle Lou might be mad about this, but Micah Henneman, he's from Brigham Young, BYU. Davion Smith. Oh, man, I thought it was Davion Bell for a second. I was like, what? What happened there? Don't really know much about these other guys. And like I said, maybe I'm missing somebody. But let's talk about the offense. You've got Jamie Elizondo as the offensive coordinator. Head coach and GM Mark Trestman. You've got the offensive line coach Jonathan Heimbaugh, Pete McGurrian, tight ends coach Justin Poindexter, running backs coach Josh Nesswinder, quarterbacks coach. Defensive minds Jerry Glanville. Does anybody know who Jerry Glanville is? Anybody want to jump in here on Jerry Glanville? No. Nobody knows who Jerry Glanville is? He's a former NASCAR driver. Oh, man. Come on, guys. He was also the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons from 1990 to 1994. He's been around. He has been around football for a long, long time. He was a head coach in Houston. He had some pretty good seasons in Houston. And then he was at Atlanta, and he had some pretty bad seasons in Atlanta. Then he coached in then he kind of took a hiatus for a little while, kind of doing the NASCAR thing. And then he was coaching at Portland State, and it was still pretty bad. And then he went to NASCAR, did NASCAR for a while, and now he's back. So we'll see what he does on defense. Now, somebody's going to say, oh, he did a great job in defense, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. What's the next closest team to us? St. Louis, maybe? Golly, St. Louis. Yeah, it's got to be St. Louis. St. Louis has got to be the closest. I don't know, maybe D.C. I can't pull for D.C. Oh, no. So let's look at the roster for these guys. Old Dominion, Nebraska, Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M, Globe Tech. Never heard of those guys either. I don't see the first Georgia. Devontae Lambert, though, from Auburn does play there. Let's see who's on the DC Defenders, man. Roster for those guys. Georgia Tech. Oh, that's kryptonite. That's kryptonite. All right, let's see. Dallas, maybe? Dallas Renegades. I like the name, though. It's a really cool name. The Renegades. Oh, their helmet's kind of cool. Looks like a cowboy hat with the guy with red eyes and like a mask over his mouth. That's pretty cool. St. Louis Battlehawks looks ridiculous. They've got Jared Hurd. Wow, I thought for sure that guy would have went pro. He's a wide receiver for Texas. He was 6'2", 203 wide receiver. Thought for sure that guy would have went pro. How did he not get drafted? It's crazy. Wow. Let me see if I can do this. Is Tampa the only team that's got Georgia players on it? Let's do a quick search here and see what we come up with. Looks like there's one on the Houston Roughnecks and one on the New York Guardians. This is in the UGA Wire today. 4 former Bulldogs will represent across 2 teams. I thought, no, that's. Yeah, Tampa's got 3 more, so they'll have 4 total. I guess I'm going to have to pull. I guess I'm going to have to pull for Tampa. Just because they've about the only team with any Georgia players on it. So, and I haven't had an opportunity to look at the coach and do a breakdown yet, or really do a big breakdown of the players. But I'm really interested in how that's going to turn out. I was super, super excited when the AAF came out, but because that bombed so heavily, now I'm like kind of reserved. It was pretty bad. The way there was like stories that how players, after they were told that it was over with because they were struggling to make payroll, that they would have to pay for their own plane ticket home. I mean, it was bad. Let's see. I want to look at single ticket prices. Well, the tickets aren't expensive. They're only $24 for Tier 7. Let's say that's in the corners. Let's see here. How much is this? I don't even know. I guess it's like end zone tickets. Let's see. Oh, the gear looks terrible though. Oh wow, they could have done a much better job with that. Like, it looks like something that come out of like your cousin's t-shirt screen shop that he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, it doesn't look good at all. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. The website seems to be pretty fluid though. Let's see what season tickets cost. So you can get Tier 7 season tickets, 5 game season ticket package for $100. Season ticket per game, $20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 50, 75, 80, 90. So Tier 1, which is obviously your best tier, is $450. And that's like your Sky Booth tickets. And there's only 2 sections of those. Red, which is Tier 3, is $375 for the whole package, or $75 a game. So if you were going to a UGA game or a regular game and you want to compare that ticket price, it's really in line than that. But we'll see how it works out. What's going on, Ruben Terry? All right, who's got a question for me? Ian, the LSU fan, established 2003. Hey, Brett, I hope the Chiefs win. Me too. I'm pulling for the Chiefs. But let me ask you a question, Ian, since you're like the only LSU fan I've ever seen on the channel. What is your thoughts of Bo Pelini? I do hope Clemson smokes Notre Dame. I hope they smoke Notre Dame so bad that they just give up on the rest of the season and just quit. I really do. Ugh. Just so you guys know, granite countertops are a lot of work. My son helped me with the last one. My daughter helped me with the first 2, but it's a lot more work than I thought it was. All right, guys. So don't forget, we'll be doing the halftime reaction. I'll probably be doing a game reaction as well. That having been said, I'm kind of down, but I'm kind of excited. This is like the last football game for a while. Of course, XFL starts up in like 6 more days. So next Sunday, you'll be seeing the first game of the XFL. If you want to know the schedule, XFL does have a really good website. Go over and check it out. Our first game, week 1, is going to be the Vipers at the New York Guardians. They're playing at the MetLife Stadium at 2 p.m. on February 9th. Currently, this is a 10-week season. I don't know how they are going to do the playoff or whatever, but it looks like they do not play every team twice. They will play the Guardians twice. They will play the Battlehawks twice. And they will play the Defenders twice. Seattle Dragons once, Roughnecks once, and the Dallas Renegades once. And the LA Wildcats once. So we'll see how it turns out. But I'm kind of excited about that. But we'll see how it goes. We'll also be doing some stuff on National Signing Day. Ruben Terry said he laid 30-plus granite tops. Good night. Hey, Ruben, I need to get with you, brother. My wife wants to do granite countertops in the kitchen. I need to get with you on that because I don't have granite for that. Michael Porter said, Big Dog Brett, do you think the breakout player for UGA this next season? I don't know. But I like the caps. It makes me feel appreciated. I would love to see Zamir White kind of get over the knee injury. It took Nick Chubb a year. If you go back to the Nick Chubb situation after he tore his ACL and it healed up, he came back that year. They said he was good to go. He really wasn't. The year after that, he had a really great season. So, yeah. Michael Porter said, Pickens. Yeah, I agree with that, sir. I think Pickens is going to have a great year, but there's a lot of young talent on that team, and I would love to see what they do with this new offense. And that's really what's kind of making me pump the brakes. I mean, just to see what happens. Pickens is a beast, though. He's gonna be wide receiver number 1 for sure. Bunch of slow guys that can't run. I agree with that. But you know they play in what is their schedule, by the way? Let's look at that real quick. Do they even have a tough schedule this year? Oh, good Lord. They got the blue and gold game. Their first game is the Navy Shipments, and then they get a bye week. We get 2. Are we doing 2 bye weeks again this year? Oh, God, I hate that. I don't know how I feel about that. And then they got Arkansas, Western Michigan, bleh. Wake Forest Demon Deacons, bleh. Wisconsin Badgers, Stanford, meh. Pitt, meh. Duke, meh. Clemson, Clemson's going to kill them. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the Cards from Louisville, and the Trojans. I don't know. I'd see at least 2 losses right out of the gate. Wisconsin and Clemson's going to kill them. So I'm good with that right there. Just knowing that makes me happy because that means that they're likely not going to be anywhere near a playoff game. So I'm good with that. Georgia's schedule for 2020. I want to see if we get. I want to see how the bye weeks work. I don't think Georgia. Does Georgia have 2 bye weeks? I don't think so. Let me check. No, we've got 1 bye week, like a sane school. We got the Virginia Cavs, the ETSU Buccaneers. What in the world? And then we've got Alabama. Then we've got ULM, Vandy, Auburn, Missouri Tigers. Then we got an off week before Florida. I'm really happy about that off week before Florida. I love knowing that we've got that bye week. Then we got Carolina at Carolina, the Vols, the Wildcats, and then Tech. So, I mean, if I had to look at Georgia's schedule and kind of pick out, will UGA ever get over the mountaintop? I'd like to think so, but I don't know. We're ranked 6th in toughest schedule. I'll look at you guys' schedule here in just a second. What's going on, Bartholomew? We very well could with this schedule. I mean, playing Alabama early on is good. I would not want to play them after like Florida or after. Really, that's the only tough team we have right now is Alabama and Florida. So strength of schedule could hurt us, but the fact that we're in the SEC helps us. We should beat the Cavs, should beat the Bucks. Alabama's going to be a coin toss. ULM will beat them. Vandy will beat them. Auburn, we should beat them. Missouri will beat them. Florida, we should beat them. Carolina, that's going to be a revenge game. That I want to go to that game. That's going to be a revenge game. Tennessee's on the upswing. We'll see how they look at this point by the time they get there, but they're playing in Athens. Kentucky, Georgia should beat them, and then if Tech, of course, we should beat them. So our schedule is not as friendly this year as it was last year, but it's still a really good schedule. We play the Cavaliers. We open with the Cavs in Atlanta, right? So that's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's right down the road. That's a home game. So you got Atlanta, then you got Athens, and then you got a away game in Tuscaloosa. And then you got Athens, and then we travel out to Missouri. Then you have a bye week after that, and then you travel to Florida. Florida may be a little bit sneaky, but by the time we're to October 31st, we'll know what's going on. Then you got Carolina, which is an away game. You got the Vols at home, and then you got away at Kentucky, and then you got Tech and Athens. So, I mean, this is a pretty good schedule. It's not overly hard. It's not stacked heavy, but it's stacked heavy enough. New Legs will be a huge difference this year. Absolutely. Let's look at Bama's schedule real quick. So, Bama's got the Trojans, the Georgia State Panthers, then you got us, Kent State, Ole Miss, and you got LSU, A&M, and Auburn. Ooh, that could be bad. That could be an undefeated season up until you get to Georgia. Sorry, I had to do that. The good news is that you guys have an off day. You have a week off before you play LSU. That's going to be incredibly beneficial to you guys. From has no wheels. What's going on, John Anthony? Here's Auburn's schedule. Look at this. Look at this, man. This is brutal, and I love it. So, they have the Alcorn State Braves, which is whatever. I will allow that comment, Ruben. I promise you. Even though the system stopped it, I'll allow it. They didn't go as good as I wanted them to, Dennis. That's a fact. Not as good as I would have liked. So here's Auburn's schedule. They got the Acorn State Braves, the Carolina Tar Heels, Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and then the Kentucky Wildcats. And then they play Georgia October 10th. So they're going to take their first L there. And then they're playing Texas A&M. They could very well take an L there. They should beat Mississippi State. They should beat Arkansas. They'll beat UMass. And then they'll play LSU, and they're toed an L there. And then they'll play Alabama, and they'll toed an L there. They could realistically have a 4-loss season. Realistically. Yeah, week 3 is going to be interesting. So here's the crazy thing is that, even if Georgia loses that game, to Alabama, Georgia can still easily end up in a national championship. The SEC championship game. So we'll see how it goes. Well, I got a few things to do. You guys have been awesome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that share button. Hit that thumbs up if you've made it this far in the video. We'll be doing some more content on some of the other stuff. Thank you guys so much for the compliments on the new studio setup. I hope you guys like it. We're going to continue to do stuff to improve it. We're going to continue to get after it. And don't forget about the brand new news about me being literate. I'll get you guys started up on that pretty soon. You guys have a great day. God bless. Guess what? Go Dogs.
So I just downloaded the free browser extension Honey, and I'm gonna see how much money I can save with it.
Killing me softly, I have to choose. Should I leave or should I stay with you? I am addicted, we are too close. One more day and I'll overdose. Killing me softly, I gotta choose. Keep my life or lose myself in you. I'm so addicted, it has to end. But why do I keep holding your hand? I am stuck and I'm hypnotized. Visions of you come and stay the entire night. My mind is buried, rescue out of sight. Crazy me, what do I not see? That you are living poison in my veins. Put the needle in me so that I feel free. I let loose, give you the key. Pray that you'll be dead to me. Ashamed, this is my destiny. Crazy me, what do I not see? That you are living poison in my veins. Put the needle in me so that I feel free. I let loose, give you the key. Pray that you'll be dead to me.
Web publishing is a tough business. You're always juggling between creating content, growing traffic, and turning a profit. It can all quickly become overwhelming. That's why we built Ad Pushup. Ad Pushup is a revenue optimization platform that can help you grow your revenue by using ad layout testing, header bidding, ad block monetization, new ad formats, and bid price optimization. We will increase demand for your website by connecting you to 30,000 advertisers via 50 exchanges. We optimize 50 billion impressions every year for 300+ publishers, including Reddit, CNET, FileHippo, and NDTV, delivering an average revenue growth of 40%. Ad Pushup is a Google partner, IAB member, and backed by strong investors, including Microsoft Ventures. So you're in safe hands. Want to learn more? Request a demo today.
My good sir, what do bees make?
Honey.
What do you like on your toast?
Honey.
Who is the sponsor of this video?
Honey.
Here's how it works. It's a free browser add-on that you install, and then every time you check out, it scans the internet and automatically applies coupon codes for you. So you're probably thinking something this good has to be really hard to get, but it's not. It just takes 2 clicks. You click here and you click here. Those 2 clicks could save you hundreds of dollars this year and thousands of dollars over your lifetime. This is $3,000 worth of shoes. Apply coupon, give Honey a second to scan the internet and find coupon codes, and Honey saved us $600. Wow. Jeez. And that's how Honey works. So go to joinhoney.com, that's joinhoney.com, and install Honey for free today.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe close, it starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling.